Good morning, Phil. Today we are here. We are honored with the dynamic Mr. Phil Benn. And welcome, Phil. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You and I were just in a short conversation, and I said, let's just pick it up. Let's just keep it going. The momentum was smooth. We got into a lot of positive, as always, as always. Conversation. And I just want to pick it up. So we were talking about how, how much you have brought and continue to bring to the community. You wear so many hats. You have such a diverse background, from the music industry to finances to, and what I told Phil before I jumped on to start recording was, Phil, you're the guy that knows the guy. If I can't get on the phone, I can get on the phone and call you and say, hey, Phil, do you know someone? And if you can't get it done yourself, you definitely are that referral. And one of the things that Trendsetters really wants to bring awareness to is who's who. I hate the fact that people could walk right by people and don't know who they are. You're such a wide variety of wealth. You're a pleasure to the Caribbean community. You've encouraged, your support, your everything that you poured into Black communities throughout. You are who you are. And I wanted to bring you on so that you can talk more about, who Phil is, and honor us and grace us with, getting to know who you are.
Well, thank you so much, Heidi. And it really, it's as I was saying, it's I'm flattered that trendsetters would uh decide that they want to have a conversation with me to find out a little bit about who I am, and why I am the way I am. I think that would probably be more the um the reason people need to understand and get a better understanding of me. I started as a musician, as well, in Trinidad. We have what we call best village competitions. So I started drumming as an African drummer, and percussion, creating rhythm out of anything. And that gave me the opportunity to actually be on a drum kit. And I worked with the greats like Sparrow, Arrow, Shadow, Baron, you name the original Calypsonians, Kaisonians. I worked in the tents for Kaiso season, working in recording studios, building rhythm, like the soca beat, worked on that. It gave me an opportunity to do many things. And even one of the things that as a young person who it was mandatory for me to do anything that I wanted to do. I had to go to church, Catholic church, and be in the choir, which is a family tradition. But
Yes.
I took all my rhythm into the church, and we had something called folk mass. And on a Saturday evening, it was the only time that we packed out that church with all of the young people that would come out to, have a good vibe, and afterwards, go and party wherever they wanted to party. So yeah, so that's and it led me to play in Song Revolution. That was Colin Lucas was the band leader,
Yes.
and that was a great experience. I did sound engineering for the band, and after we opened for Bob Marley, um, I came to the U.S. I had to really satisfy my mother's plea to come to the US since all the family members were over here. And even prior to that, as a little kid, I had you know, the back in the days, and Jamaicans will understand the concept, even throughout the Caribbean, was called stringing up a sound system, where you had to climb up in the rafters and hang the horns and the mid range and the tweeters. So the young, nimble people would the young children would do that. So 8, 9, I was doing all of that stuff. And it led me to be on this song crew for Jacob Miller and Peter Tush. So
Wow.
I had, and one
Wow.
thing about Caribbean people, music is music. You grew up listening to Casey, Top 40. You would have a segment where there was Indian music, so and my father, he had his big gramophone with his 78,
Yes.
those big hard. So I grew up, really immersed in music, and my dad was one of those people you had to study. And when I went to high school, history was my thing. And
Mhm.
when I started really studying about slavery and the plight of uh, brothers and sisters here in America, um, I became a reparationist.
Mm.
And I was about 13 when I said I am a reparationist. So everything that I did from that particular point was from that mindset: how can I help my people? But most importantly, how do I represent my people in a positive way? So from everything from that particular point was about being excellent, and just carrying myself in a certain way, like we were saying, living a purposeful life,
Yes. Yes.
and
With intention.
with intention. Yes.
With intention.
Yeah.
And which you brought up so many great topics. You and I go back and forth talking about how slavery has really, really traumatized our people.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
can't say any other adjective but traumatized. It
Yeah.
it it was a horrendous tragedy for our people to experience.
Hmm.
And even to this day, we're seeing that.
Hmm.
And one of the things we have to give ourselves some grace on is understanding we just came out of it. You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
if it was the 50s and the 60s, we were still fighting for civil rights.
Yes.
That's only 50, 60 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to give one another grace to get things quote unquote right, to understand and rebuild our cultural norms
Hmm.
and try to figure it out, and we are as a culture still trying to figure things out. And that's one of the reasons why Trendsetters Talks is so important, to have conversations with people like you, so people can understand that it's okay. It's
Hmm.
okay. We're at a great place. There's only upwards from here.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. That's
So we can have this conversation to try to get one another to think differently, to think outside of the norms, and sometimes life can put us on that treadmill, and we just go repetitively, day in, day out, without being able to focus on the bigger picture, the bigger scheme of things. You know, survival has crippled us. The survival mindset has crippled us.
hmm
We have to open up to get things going and more better in our communities, especially financially.
yeah.
So this is the reason why we're speaking to you. I asked you to come on and talk about who you are and some of the things that you're working on. And one of the things is financial, what is it? Security, financial wellness, financial
Strategy.
generational wealth,
Mm,
strategies,
yes.
strategies to help us to get it right. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, he's a financial strategist. This is what he has a whole concept, a whole theory of how, to put things in order. Come on, Phil, you got to help us. You got to help us. You gotta help us.
Yeah,
We gotta
well,
get it right. This is something we know nothing about. I'm hearing words now, like trust and this, that, and the other. And yeah, maybe I've been on a pinwheel too, and I've been trying to get things held down. But now I'm like, wait a minute,
mhm,
let's get this thing right. I don't only want to have the conversation with you. Let's have it with everybody. Let's try to educate everybody, the young, the old, the in between people that's the young adults that's really stepping out of the nest and trying to figure things out. Let's help one another, Phil. I'm so honored that you said, hey, Heidi, I'll take that baton from you, and I'll run this race, this leg of the race with you. And I appreciate that so much. So talk to us about, what are some of the things that we should expect, from talking with you and, sitting with you as far as financial securities. What are some of the things that you've seen that has hindered our people, and besides the obvious, which is lack of resource, lack of knowledge, how can we change the mindset? How can we make people that are already in a very crippling financial crisis, how can we open them up and make them more receptive
mhm,
to saving a penny on a dime?
yeah. I think we can start by really to history. We can start by history. Um, we can start by
And let's stop. History. What do you mean by that?
history, meaning going back, wake up one morning, lay in your bed, that you for a minute and this thing that, wow, I'm in my bed. But 100 years ago, here is another Black human being, didn't have the luxury of just laying back and figure out what they want to do. Empathizing with that. Now, looking at your situation and saying, wow, I have this now based upon the sacrifices that they've made. Now, what am I going to do to pay homage to them? I think we could, if they start from that, then they now, with some empathy for them and thinking now about where and what you're going to do with this opportunity for your generation, it could change the way how you view life. I think that that internalizing of somebody's pain should be able to change you to have appreciation for the opportunity that you have now, and now to say, okay, I am going to do this for my next generation. Because as I say that the Jews had their Holocaust, but we as a Black people, we had our Holocaust.
Mhm.
Yet they say never again, and we behave like, okay, you can come and do it to us again.
Again, and it's favoring that. The whole system of things are favoring that coming right back into play again.
Mm,
So, and some of us, excuse me, some of us never got out of the slavery mindset.
mindset. Yeah.
Okay. So, what I find to be damaging in our Black communities in America, I can't speak about anywhere else, although America seems to be very influential in all countries.
Absolutely.
And they do take a lot of stuff that goes on in our Black communities and use it,
Hmm.
even our poverty, even our pain.
Yes.
And we have to, I want us, you and I, Phil, to reach those people that are still trapped in those slavery mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people like us, that's one step above another. You understand what I'm saying, in the way that we think and our expectations for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's others that there is no expectation, there is no hope. It's kind of a very dim light. And how do we penetrate those? Because there's more people that are hopeless than those that are hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
And if we continue to neglect the hopeless, then we're not really going to make enough progress in the future scheme of things. So I want us to be able, with all that people in poverty has weighed them down, I want to be able to restore hope of being financially wealthy, of being able to attain some type of stability. And I want us to be able to penetrate that particular audience. It's going to be phenomenal what you do and what you share, but we have to make a shift, even a more deeper and a more bigger impact with Trendsetters and what we're trying to do collaboratively. So again, as I envision it, I need to reach those who are unreachable. And I think that that's my purpose with Trendsetters, to enlighten people that there is hope if we do it collaboratively, if we can do it together, if we can help one another. Really, if we can forgive our past,
Um,
but not forget. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand
Have
what
to
you're
be
saying.
able to push through some things.
Yeah, I think forgiving our past, how do we do that? I mean, I think that our past struggles have given a generation strength. They didn't really, the older generation, those that just came out of it, understood that this is it. I got to make it work.
But we're right
As
back here now, Phil.
as we
We're
move
right back here
generations
now.
away from that, they now, because they haven't struggled, they have an entitlement mindset, and that is the problem. And as I preferenced early, I came to study music and I studied music history, as well as studied music theory, but studied the psychological impact that music has on the human mind, spirit, and soul, and understanding that through music we can heal. But more important, when you really look at the music that was being recorded, lyrics were written, and the end product of what was being played on the radio station, that soundtrack was what was waking up people's consciousness and moving the Black community in a direction, in addition to support all of the Malcolm X and the Martin Luther Kings. And when you look at what
And Black Panther
Marvin Gaye
movements
was
and things
saying,
like,
and
yes,
all
yes,
of
yes.
these other writers,
Mhm.
including what Bob Marley was doing, what Marcus Garvey was doing, at that particular area of time, that there was such a consciousness and awareness that we have to save ourselves and motivate our people and educate them. We couldn't take them into the classroom, but using the lyrics and the airwaves, we were educating our people. Now here we are today, our music is weaponized against the younger generation, and it is giving them a commercialized outlook on the world of as to how if I don't have this, you understand, I'm not worthy. So I have to have the sneakers, I gotta have this car, I gotta have that. But at the end of the day, when you listen to some of the lyrics, it's all well good to tell you that you need to get them things, but where is the roadmap? Where is the lyrics that is giving them the roadmap to get to that? You know, the Barrington Levy had a song named Work. You know, when you go back, you know, I mean, our enlightened musicians and artists have done and the best they can do to move a certain people. But we have in this generation now that is undoing a lot of what was done and dumbing down this generation. I mean, the music and something that I was having a conversation with somebody. He's a bishop in California, and we were having a conversation, and I was explaining to him, which I thought that he was aware of, that there is a spirituality that the person with the microphone has within, and if that spirit is of the Most High, those that are listening to it, he's actually pouring into them like into a cup.
I get that, but we kind of veered off topic. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, music is essential to our people, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
discrediting that thought at all. And that is one of the ways that we can resonate a different message to the upcoming generation, because we've seen how that's hindered us. But you raised an important fact, like back out of the 50s and the 60s, when we were more collaboratively thinking,
Mm-hmm.
there was a shift in things because of how that was received by white America. Okay. And I want to say it that way because
Mm-hmm.
that's how things began to shift again. When and that caused the trickle down into what we have now. So it was a pivot. First, we were collaborative,
Mm-hmm.
and then things got really bad, right? Um, think people started getting killed. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all those names that you called, all of our leaders were killed.
Right, because they
Black
saw
Panther
things.
movement was
Mm-hmm.
disabled. They were demolished.
Yeah.
And several other historical facts happened in our country that made Black America at one point like, yo, what we gonna do?
They understood
Understand?
very
So
well.
and that's very recent in our
Mm-hmm.
history. That's very recent in our history. So picking up, let's say our parents as I'm a first generation, but our parents who migrated here and people, Black Americans that were here, they had to navigate and try to figure things out. And
Mm-hmm.
they had to carry with them all that trauma
Right.
that they were exposed to. And that wasn't healthy. It wasn't a healthy place for our communities at that time. They became drug riddled, alcohol, people were losing jobs, factories were closing.
Yeah, those were insurgencies.
Educational people who had educations were not being hired. There's a system of things that knocked us down.
Well, they were intentional.
And
They're
this is what I said. And
more intentional.
we all, we're not discrediting that. We all understand
Mm-hmm.
where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are here. You understand what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah, because
Now
these things
we're
were
here. Now we're here, and we can't exclude anybody in the bigger picture of this. We have to incorporate the young with the old, with us and everybody else. Everybody has to come together now. Everybody. And we have to, we have to change many different things. Yes, we do have to change entertainment. Yes, we do have to change education. Yes, we do have to change healthcare. Yes, we do have to change even financially. We have to change career goals. We have to change our cultural way of thinking.
mentoring.
And you and I, Phil, are still trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
we
no,
got to
it's
figure it
mentoring.
out together.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And that's really what this is about. This is about, okay, Phil is going to do this financial thing, and this is how we're going to, but how do we get to the broken ones?
Still mentoring. It's still mentoring because with the breakup of the family,
Yes.
right? It goes all the way back the system of breaking up the family. Um, the welfare program.
Yes. Yes.
They use that to break up the family. The family structure, the matriarch. Where is the matriarch? Who was there to give guidance to the grandchildren? You have all of these structures that have been broken. So the thing is going back to it takes a village to raise a child.
Right. So maybe there's no grandmothers, but they got aunties like me and they got uncles like you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
And we are sisters and brothers, and we just have to recreate it. One of the things that I've come to understand in my many years of serving the community is that we have such great expectations on titles.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the disappointment sometimes becomes re-traumatizing. You understand?
Yep.
So we got to jump in, and it doesn't matter who does it. Stop expecting who to do what and what to do what and what. Just jump in, find a place that you fit in and
Correct.
do a part of the job. I think that's what Gateways is. That's what Trendsetters Talks is. It's
Yeah.
it's a wheel, and we all got a place. Jump in when you can. Do what you got to do. Let's get it done. Let's help our community. Let's help one another. Let's help one another heal. Let's fall in
Mm-hmm.
love with one another again. Let's erase what traditionally we had implemented and tweak it a little. We don't have to completely throw it away, but as evolution and time goes by, we don't need some of those traditional ways. We now have to think of things on a broader, more humanitarian scale. And I think that even there's a shift in America that way. You understand? We were a business minded country, and we still are. However, we have to think about embracing the human beings and the cost of effect of human casualty going further into this
Mm-hmm.
thing, into how America is going to move into the future. I heard something like China increased their nuclear warhead by what 30%, and America's stance on that it's unnecessary because it only takes one. You don't need a whole arsenal of nuclear warfare because from the
Mm-hmm.
first time one goes off, oh well, you got a couple of seconds or 30 minutes before everything is a disaster. So they don't have to. And I think that they were thinking, America is now thinking on a more global effect as far as that's concerned. And I think that that's, you know, although America is thinking globally, and that's the very big, pretty picture, we have some stuff in America that we have to take care of here at home as well, you know, and it is the Black community. And
Correct.
it, you know, and this is what it is. This is what it is. And I think that, you know, I'm glad that you and I are sitting down and we're having this chat. What are some of the things that we should expect from you? Tell us, throw out some of the topics, throw out some. I mean, I sat in on one of your workshops before, and I may have been in it for a half an hour, and I was sitting there taking notes and, you know, just really, really like, I never knew that. I didn't think about that. Like it was, oh, and I just popped in, and you know that. I just popped in
Right.
to be popping in because I tend to do that. And everybody who knows me know I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up, even if it's for 15 minutes. I'm gonna pop in and pop back out, see what's going on. And I stayed because I was really interested, you know, and some good things, good conversation came out of it. So I was glad, and I'm looking forward to starting, you know, that piece. But what are some of the things that we should look forward to?
Well, so after been teaching, so I've been in real estate for like 20 years, and I was teaching home ownership for about 10 years for
Mhm.
before the pandemic, and during the pandemic we were doing webinars.
Okay.
But while teaching home ownership, really, all people have a desire to become homeowners. It is the American dream, and everyone is entitled to that.
Right.
Uh, but financial education is not part of the American schooling system.
Right.
So a lot of people are not hitting the targets at the age they're supposed to be hitting. So they're frustrated, they want to buy this home. And um, so I got into finance to really give people a roadmap so that they can manage the money, because that is one of the biggest challenges in America, not just Black folks, just America. The
Just
system
America. Right.
is, the wealthy 1%, and that's that elite clique, and they're just focused on what they got. And 90% of Americans are failing. 95% of Americans are failing financially. And for me, understanding all of that is, so my passion really is revealing to people the banking system, the insurance system. They're corrupt. They're too corrupt, exploitive entities in America. And if people really get to understand the systems in America, they'll be making better decisions with their money, and be able to create generational wealth. That
Mm.
is what life is all about. Life is not about me just surviving, and it's about creating, wealth, so that, 3 generations don't have to worry about anything if you understand the system. And the goal was, and the goal still is not just reaching adults. My goal is reaching the kids in high school. I want to catch the kids in high school before they graduate. So when they come out, they have a target, and they'll be more disciplined with their money and don't run down the car and stuff like that. So this is where we got to start right now, because we got to say, all right, there's some generations that are lost. And I know that um, music is very important to that particular community. So my thing is, how do we raise up a generation of rappers that actually can formulate in their lyrics financial education?
So maybe that's a project that you and I could work on with Trendsetters teens, because
Yeah.
you'll be teaching them, and maybe that's something that we can look at future forward with the community center and other programs, projects that I'm working on. So
Yes.
that definitely is something
Mhm.
that, we will explore together. You
Correct.
know. but I'm excited. I'm excited about what, what you have to offer our financial, in your financial workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we're going to start that. It's a goal, as soon as next week, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
start, and they'll be able to access all of the videos on YouTube, Facebook, um, YouTube and Facebook. I don't think Instagram allows a video past a certain length.
Correct.
So, but we will be on the two platforms now, and
Mm-hmm.
others, we're setting up other accounts.
In
So they'll
person.
be on others, yeah,
Yeah.
where we can be more visible and
Yeah.
make and reach a larger audience, So I am looking forward to having you come on. As always, it's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna get the kids involved, of course, because we need to hear their thoughts on things. So if
Yes.
you're operating a little over their heads, we need you to understand that, so you can tone it down, so it can make the words more understandable, so you can get everything. You can reach them.
No, the kids, they're brilliant.
Everything now is so fast. Everything. I mean, even as you said, the music, and
Yeah.
they're doing things. Everything is so fast. Looking at my kids give my eyeballs like they're in some type of ping pong machine. They just looking at them just bounce around the house. It's like, wow, they have so much energy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, y'all got all this energy. Let's get everything in those heads from now. Because
Yeah.
when you reach up there, you really slow down. You know how it is, Phil. I'm out there. I was thinking that I could have done a little couple of things that I gotta slow down. I gotta take it easy. Gotta pace myself. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll get through. And again, it was a wonderful thing talking to you. We'll talk afterwards about setting some things up. I want to say bye to you on the recording, but we'll pick up after.
But I'm glad, I had the opportunity to have this conversation and share with the Trendsetters family, some of the
You are
stuff that
part of
went
the
on behind.
family. You're not sharing with us. You're part of the family. We're in this together, Phil. I keep telling you that. There's everybody. There's enough. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, let's figure it out. The more of us, the better it is. The more of us that's out here trying to make a difference and trying to be impactful and trying
Correct.
to be purposeful is
Mm-hmm.
the more impact we'll make. So I don't want to be out here doing it alone. There's a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, our people need help. You
A lot of
understand?
work
It's
to be
like
done.
it's
Mm-hmm.
fires all around us, So if you could grab a hose and I could
Mm-hmm.
grab a hose and somebody else grab a hose, we could douse some of these fires out,
Yes. Yeah.
and let somebody else jump in with the healing process and
Mm-hmm.
band-aids and whatever ointment needs to be put on so that we can heal and we can move on into a more productive community overall and rich. We're rich. We got resources out of the, come on now. We just got to get it together. We got to figure it out. We could reinvent the wheel, change culture. This is what we need to do. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And let's be great. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a high percentage of college, the those that are graduating from college that want to change. They see it, they just need to find and align themselves with what Trendsetters is about, and we can make that.
Yes. 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 Because we're all trendsetters.
Hmm.
Just have to
Yeah.
figure that out. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? We just have to
Hmm.
figure that out. I mean, we talked about how influential Black America is globally.
Hmm.
We're trendsetters.
Yes. Yes.
So let's use America to do what America does. That's create greatness,
Correct.
you know,
Well, and highlight greatness.
and highlight greatness.
Highlight greatness.
It's going to be so much noise that it's not even going to need a highlight. The light is going to be there illuminating
Mhm.
itself. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, we got to highlight it because we don't understand things the way that we should, but we getting better at that. We getting better at that. So that's why we got Trendsetters Talks. Let's highlight everything. Let's show people what we got going on. Let's find out and figure out who's who, because we don't know, and what is what, and where is what. You know, we pass buildings every day. We in a concrete jungle. We pass buildings every day, but we really don't know what's going on in those buildings. We don't know who's who. We don't know what's what. So that's what it's about. Let's do it. All right, Phil, it's been great. Let's wrap. And hold on, stay right there.